Hello there, you're right on time for our special Friday guest anchor edition on RTV News. I am Isabel Maswazura and I'm not alone. I'm joined by
Shami Eden Benimana.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having us.
Well, if you're watching, you better be excited because he brings us historical news for Rwanda, but that's later on. For now, we get to our headlines first. Rwanda Governance Board has expressed appreciation for the role of stakeholder activities in the development of various districts. Also coming up, residents of Rweru sector in Bugesera district say that they have not had clean water for more than 3 years. A very warm welcome once again. This is RTV News. I'm Isabel Maswazura. We get to our first story. Rwanda Governance Board has expressed appreciation for the role of stakeholder activities in the development of various districts and also requested the increase of efforts in monitoring the implementation of the district developmental plan. We start this coverage with Olive Wontete.
Social welfare activities accounts for a large part of the budget of the Joint Action Development Forum. Among all activities with a value of 170 billion Rwandan francs carried out by JAF in the year 2021-2022, activities in the social pillar are 62%, which is more than 160 billion Rwandan francs. The pillar of economic development accounts for 56 billion Rwandan francs, which equals to 32%, and that of the governance part, which accounts for 7 billion Rwandan francs, which equals to 4%. Some district-level JAF officials say that they are content with their contribution in the development of the country. We are content with the current progress of JAF. Everyone understands his responsibilities and their role in the country's development. Even though they understand there is need to increase efforts, but also districts should increase efforts in approaching and discussing with them, so that even those that are not included can be involved in contributing to the development. When you know what you're doing and you have a purpose, which is development of the citizens, it is really good.
If in certain district, private stakeholders do not provide their contribution, how can they be approached so that it can be a way of working together in setting the budget plan, especially everyone works for the development of a citizen. And when you do the plan together and elaborate the priorities, it helps in joining efforts and also not repeating what was done, and everyone contributes with the aim of developing the country.
The Rwanda Governance Board acknowledges the improvements made by JAF in its operations and interactions with the government, but it also recognizes the need to intensify monitoring efforts for the execution of district development plans, as explained by Dr. Usta Kaitesi, RGB's Chief Executive Officer. When you examine the NST1 government plan of 7 years, the Joint Action Development Forum is in charge of implementing the district development strategies. It is necessary to remind each other of that responsibility. We are currently almost at the end of the district development strategies, and that is a good opportunity to evaluate what was achieved, but also to evaluate what was not achieved, especially because the pandemic of COVID-19 hindered most activities. So we should evaluate so that people can monitor the implementation plan. In discussions that brought together RGB, leaders and JAF staff in districts, and the executive secretary in provinces, RGB announced that it is going to establish a technology system that will assist JAF members to access services such as registration, giving reports, and more. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Thank you, Olive. Now, residents of Rweru sector in Bugesera district say that they have not had clean water for more than 3 years. Currently, 39,000 people get their water from lakes. We continue with Olive Wontete.
Some residents in Rweru sector claim that it is challenging to have access to water, which does not reach the entire sector. We usually suffer from gastrointestinal parasites because of unclean water fetched from those lakes. And when we and our kids drink that water, we suffer from those illnesses.
We also need to get access to water. We request that we can be supplied with water as well.
Although there exist water facilities in several areas of this sector, inhabitants do not have access to water. Residents in that area claim that if they get access to water, it only lasts for a short time before disappearing again. The Nzagwa Health Center in this area say that majority of diseases treated are caused by the usage of unclean water.
When you compare about 50 to 60% of illness we usually receive is from unclean water. It means diarrhea and gastrointestinal parasites to adults and children.
The Executive Secretary of Gweru Sector, Gaspar Gasirabo, notes that in partnership with the district, advocacy is being done to address this issue.
All institutes, be the districts and its stakeholders, even other institutions concerned, are aware of the problem. Seeing how they are usually concerned, I believe that next year the problem will be solved.
During the deputy's recent outreach program across the country, it was revealed that there are sectors that are performing poorly in terms of supplying clean water to people, with Gweru sector and Midisera district taking the top spot with 0%. Meanwhile, Rwanda has set a target of having all residents have access to water by 2024, meaning that the target still has 1 year and a half to be met. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Moving on, people who lost their cows from Tanzania and were brought to Rwanda now appreciate the government of Rwanda for the assistance provided to them in terms of getting their cows back. Adam Squizera has the details.
The two people whose cows were stolen are Astidens Johannes Rusoma and Asla Munyambo Azaria from Chergwa and Karagwe district in Tanzania, where they are appreciating the government of Rwanda for helping them to bring back their cows. Right now, I have a lot of happiness in my heart. I thank the government of Rwanda for helping me in all the problems I faced until it reached to the end, and I was able to find my cows. In fact, the message I would deliver is that I love the government of Rwanda and appreciate the friendship, kindness, and insight of the leaders of Rwanda. We found our cows stolen. They crossed the border. Then we followed them in Rwanda. We called them and they told us that they have been caught. When we arrived in Rwanda, we found that our cows were there. That's why I'd really appreciate the government of Rwanda. ASP Machumu, the head of police in charge of Tanzania's side of the Rusumo border post, appreciates the cooperation between the two countries, especially in this operation of returning the cattle. I think the cooperation is good, and we want the cooperation to be like this. This is also what our superiors often point out, that we should always have a cooperation like that of those who store the cows. We want this cooperation that should continue as well. The executive secretary of Gwimiyaga sector, Bagabo Anthony, who represented the Nyagatare district, also knows that this cooperation should be maintained. Another thing we really appreciate is that we return these cows to their owners. Due to that good relations, 11 cows were stolen from Chergwa and Karagwe district in Tanzania on the 3rd December, where they were taken to Chamunyana cell in the Gwimiyaga sector by 3 men, and they were identified on the next day, on the 4th December. Currently, the suspects have been arrested. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
Thank you, Adams. Now, people who want to go to spend holidays with their families are citing transportation as a major challenge. We continue with Adam Squizera.
At the Nyabugogo bus park, there is a flow of people attempting to board buses to take them to their hometowns, where they want to celebrate this festive season with their families. I saw a lot of people. You can see it's very difficult, as that I'm going to Musanze, but so far we've run out of tickets.
During this, they can even steal our bags. We don't know if it is possible to get buses or if we have to return and come back early.
Some locals who want to travel to their families during this festive season say that they are concerned about the lack of transportation options. We feel like the leaders are looking for the way forward to help us, because it's impossible to spend a night in this bus park, as the fact that we are in the rainy season, including that there are some parents who are with their kids, plus the old people who have been here since morning. If there is nothing done, it will cause some problems. Many link this issue with the return of students from school, where they were set as the priority due to the program of the Student Transportation Service, according to the Association of Transporters in Rwanda. Adam Skrizera, RTV News.
The Internet Society Rwanda chapter will launch 3 programs aimed at developing internet technology in the country. Now, these 3 programs will focus on the development of the of the internet technology, especially in education. We now go to Jessica Agasaro for more.
These 3 programs have been tested in the past 2 years in some schools in the Bugesera district. The director of the Department of Education in the district of Bugesera, Gashumbaja, says that the internet installed in school did not only benefit students but was also beneficial to the neighborhood.
Internet Society in Bugesera district works with 3 schools, GS Nyirarukobwa, Pikayovu, GS Sentite Butereri, for 2 years. We experienced the components from the Internet Society, that is Internet for community, Internet for education, and Internet and safer Internet. These 3 components are there for 2 years. Yes, we are talking about the methodology that the teachers have to use when teaching. They teach and they talk to the students that they have to search for their own and experience more about what the teacher have already taught. So nowadays we are saying that Internet Society is bringing more solutions to what we are expected in these 3 schools, and they have to expand again to another school which is called GS Chibungo, and we hope that we are continuing to have these benefits from them.
The head of the Internet Society Rwanda chapter, Emmanuel Mfitumukiza, pointed out that they plan to cooperate with various institutions in the country so that people without access to the internet can be facilitated to get access.
In regards to expansion of our programs, is just to extend these programs to the whole country, because we have 30 districts around the country, and we need all our programs to be at least in every district. What we are going to do, we will begin. I will begin with this connecting the unconnected program. We will identify at least 4 centers. From these 4 centers, then those centers will be a training center in the community for knowledge, and then from these centers, then we will also provide kind of technical trainings, so that at least these young generation that are there in the community can also help us to expand these programs across the community.
Statistics from the Ministry of ICT and Innovation shows that in Rwanda, the 4G internet has reached 95.2% of the country's surface and 97.2% of the population can use. In 2021, people who had access to the internet were more than 4 million, not including those who used mobile phones to access the internet. In the same year, more than 850,000 people used social media's platform. Jessica Agasaro, RTV News.
It is the moment you've been waiting for. Now, Zipline, a startup revolutionizing access to blood and other medical supplies using drones together with the government of Rwanda, announced a new partnership. It will serve the entire country with instant logistics. The government of Rwanda plans to make nearly 2 million instant Zipline deliveries and fly more than 200 million autonomous kilometers by 2029. Now, our guest anchor, Shami Benimana from Zipline, he is the general manager, joins us to elaborate. Thanks for making the time, Shami.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
And you are an amazing co-anchor.
It was intense, but enjoyable as well. Thank you.
You made it look easy. Well, the last part there looked like a professional anchor that should be doing this. But hey, let's get to the question.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of conversation about this new partnership and what it is set to achieve, but help me understand, because 2018-2019, you were already operating on a countrywide scale.
Yeah.
So I guess my question here is why this massive scale up? What is the thinking behind? What is the inspiration behind? Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, sure. At Zipline, the core mission that we have is to serve everyone, everywhere equally. Starting with health, we want to make sure that if there's a patient anywhere in the country, they actually get access to what they need. And from 2016 to 2018, there was a lot of learning. There's always learning even beyond 2018. But in those first 2 years, Zipline was the first logistics autonomous drone company operating in any country.
Correct.
So we're learning, how do you actually make it work? How do you work with different stakeholders? How do you work with stakeholders in the health sector, from health facilities to RBC, Ministry of Health? And how do you actually now do the delivery itself? And once the lessons were at a good enough scale that each stakeholder could trust that we could do the job, but also that results were starting to be demonstrated. We had mothers who had actually received blood through our deliveries, coming and telling us, you know what, this happened,
Yes.
and being grateful. And once that was reached, now we wanted to go beyond that to help more people.
Okay, well, that makes sense. But let's talk about the daring Rwanda move. Well, Rwanda was your first customer, and I guess it's a favorite when it comes to fasts. And well, by adding the new locations, Rwanda will be the first country in the entire world to have the ability to make autonomous instant deliveries to its entire population. That's a huge undertaking. Like you said, you already made the mistakes. You're getting ready for this massive move. But what can be the challenges that could be encountered in terms of logistics pulling this off?
I try to talk about it in maybe 2 or 3 areas. I think the first aspect to what we do is we need stakeholders who are willing to work with us, and that's where Rwanda comes in. Rwanda is the hub of innovation, and we are using emerging technologies, and in very different sectors. We have in engineering sector, we have a fulfillment sector. How do you actually get products from point A to B? And we have stakeholders who have services that they deliver to different people across the country, whether it's in health, whether it's in tourism, whether it's in commerce of all sorts, trade. And we need willing stakeholders, and we have them in Rwanda, from the government itself through different institutions, even the private sector. We've seen people there.
If I may cut in there, what I'm hearing you say is you are banking on your partners to pull this off in terms of logistics.
Yes, we always need partners
Okay.
because we help them deliver from point A to point B, and we are the intermediaries. And without them, our mission would be reduced, because we trust them to do what they do, and they trust us to do the part that we've learned to do best.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No company, no man is an island.
Yeah.
But let's stick with the partnership a little bit. Now, Rwanda is going to be tripling its delivery volume. Am I right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, that's really big, but that's not all that you're doing. No. On top of that, you are actually venturing into onboarding other government entities. You're going to be now supporting finance, e-commerce, as well as tourism. All those divisions, on top of what I said earlier, seems to be like a huge, and taking what went into the preparation process, just getting ready for this, and just how big a challenge is this for your team?
That's a very good question. So you talked about 2018 to 2019. I think from earlier this year, 2022, we actually started venturing with new sectors. We started with child nutrition. It's an angle we hadn't approached before, but working with NCDA, we had learnings there, and it taught us a few more lessons, and it opens our scope, because we saw beyond delivering medical products that the person needs at the hospital, we need to take care of the person even before through nutrition. So we are now working with RAB as well in introducing new genetic materials for pigs, and we are helping in animal vaccination campaigns. These are things which deliver nutritional quotients to people, but also help them economically by providing means to actually take care of health. So we've actually started learning, and our process is continuous improvement. We learn slowly, and we try not to take on too much. And to that aspect, of course, our people like us, the zipliners who are making this work, are also learning slowly. So we take the stakeholders that I talked about, we learn from what they're doing, and we add our specialty in the logistics angle to make sure that we can actually deliver the service. And we'll gradually get there. So 3 times or more, because what's happening this year, we could not have predicted 6 years ago.
All right. Now, one of the things that caught my attention is the fact that you're going to be giving unforgettable eco-tourism experiences, and doing a lot more, not just with tourism, but many other aspects. We look forward to that in 30 seconds. What next for the Zipline Rwanda revolutionary journey that we have witnessed? So
6 years and now 7 years. So what we imagined 6 years ago, we are going to do tons more. There's going to be more technologies. Expect something this year in 2023, which is going to be mind-blowing in terms of technology that you can actually see in the outside. But also on the inside, all that we're talking about, we are looking at experiences which help and enrich the lives of people anywhere and everywhere. So we are looking at all kinds of services that will be more convenient. Convenience should not be for the West only. Convenience should be for every Rwandan. Yes. And we are going to be working to actually achieve that.
All right. Convenience for every Rwandan. Shami Benimana from Zipline. It is the General Manager. Thanks for joining me. It's been a pleasure co-anchoring with you. I hope we can get to do this again.
Hopefully, yes. Thank you so much for inviting me again.
All right, and all the best with your future endeavors alongside your team. You heard it, folks. Rwanda will be making history as the first country in the entire world to launch a national-wide drone delivery service. Incredible there. Isabel Masozera is my name. It's always a pleasure bringing you the latest here in Rwanda and beyond. And on behalf of the entire team here at RTV, thanks for watching.